Hi, my name is Monroe. For all of you who don't know, I moved here about a year and a half ago and I started attending ACCS in the spring. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas for 19 years, so moving out here was a big jump for me. I'd like to start talking to y'all about my artwork. It's about love and loss within my personal life. It's about the love of people, love of hobbies, and the loss of education, the loss of myself, and also the loss of people. To start off, I would like to talk to you about growing up in Arkansas. I grew up in a society that has always been stereotyped. I've been asked if I wear shoes, I've been asked if all my teeth are real, and people think I'm uneducated because of my accent. I try to educate myself on a daily basis, and I work with the way I talk, and I like to improve and use resources to help me every day. And one of the resources I use is a thesaurus. It's one of my favorite things. I love looking up new words to help replace bad words, as I like to call them. So I'd like to start off by showing you my thesaurus. I came up with the idea for a thesaurus because somebody needed to use one, and I always thought how funny that a thesaurus sounds like a dinosaur. So I decided to create a thesaurus. He represents the extinction of adequate vocabulary within our society. Social media has had a huge impact on our society, and with instant messaging, text messaging, Facebook, it all has just made our society sound horrible when we speak. We abbreviate words, we shorten words, and we use elementary vocabulary rather than taking the time to use a thesaurus and come up with a better word. So I would like to encourage all of you to invest in a thesaurus, and I'm sure there's an app. I should all look for that. My next piece is a bow. It's a bow that you can never untie. I believe a bow can reveal a special gift. You see it on presents, you see it in cards. It's something that I always keep as sacred. It's going to reveal something that I'm going to hold personal to me forever. And with this piece, I wanted to create a bow that you can never know what it might reveal. It might reveal something special, it might reveal something bad. So with your imagination, you might never know. These swans represent a symbol of love and grace, union, and partnership. I painted these beautiful animals when I was dating my husband. I knew that he was the one for me, and he made me feel complete. I felt like we were as if we were the swans, and that we would be partners for life. Michael joined the Army, my husband, his name is Michael, and he went to Korea while I stayed in Arkansas. When he got back, we were told that we would be stationed here in Colorado Springs. Both of us had never lived out of the state. He obviously lived out of the country for a year. But I had never moved out of Arkansas, and I was very terrified to come here where it's cold, and there's mountains, and you have wild animals running around. This painting represents us standing alone on our own branch, ready to begin our own tree and plant our roots and venture off into our new life together. This piece is very personal and represents a time in my life as if I was losing parts of myself. Michael was leaving for military training while I stayed in Arkansas to attend school. During this time, I felt as if I was losing myself, felt as if I was losing self-control. I was having issues with if I wanted to live or not. So I knew that this was bad and that I needed to seek help. And this painting shows myself as the flower and losing parts of me. I was diagnosed with manic depression and learned that it was a condition that I would have to cope with for the rest of my life. This is the beginning of a series about my identity, and I'm very excited about this. It's about growing up in Arkansas and how I was surrounded by hunting. I was so surrounded by hunting that on opening day, it always fell on a school day. and my school let us out for Teacher Appreciation Day. So we never had to go to school on the first day because nobody would show up anyways. I would like to tell you all about my first time on killing a deer. This allowed me to feel the power and the thrill in my new addiction to hunting. I was ecstatic to go for the first time with my stepdad, and we sat on the stand, and it was time for the deer to come out. The deer come out at gray sky, which means everything looks gray, oddly enough. And the feeder went off to let the deer know it was dinner time. At that moment, the most beautiful doe walked out. I held up my gun, I aimed it, and I shot her. After the smoke cleared, and I didn't know if I hit her or not, my stepdad told me that I did, but she was nowhere to be found. I climbed down the stand and started running through the woods because I was so excited to find her. Once we finally found her, the power in me just came out. I was so thrilled about killing this animal and providing food for my family. And ever since then, I became addicted to hunting, which is very rare for a woman to hunt. It's a male-dominated sport, and unfortunately, some women are intimidated by hunting. With these antlers, I want to show women that hunting can allow them to feel powerful. It does not have to be a male-dominated sport. Growing up, we are always told that men hunt and women stay at home, but I disagree. I feel that women need to know that they can do whatever a man does, and hunting is one of them. This is a close-up of my antlers. They are spray painted pink and they are glittery. When hunting, you obviously have to have a rifle or a weapon. I know many people, mostly women, are intimidated by guns. Guns seem scary. They say guns kill people, but I personally have never seen a gun kill somebody. I've seen a person with a gun kill somebody. But there's nothing to be scared of when handling a gun. You have to know what you're doing. This is a surrogate gun because I did not feel comfortable painting an actual rifle pink. I'll leave that to professionals unless one day I feel like painting my own rifle pink. I use a stereotypical pink color that is related to females to show that guns don't have to be scary and they can be attractive and very fun. This final piece of my identity series is doe urine. When hunting, you have to attract bucks with a special fragrance. If you want to attract the buck, you must smell like the doe, and the best perfume a doe has is her urine. The idea of putting urine on yourself is pretty disturbing. But if you want to kill the buck, you have to smell like the doe. So I placed it in a very attractive perfume bottle to give the idea that it may actually smell nice. And this is a close-up of my label. This is my label. It says, "Attract the buck from your dreams." This photography series that I'm starting is titled MIA, Missing in Action. I decided to do this because Michael was recently deployed to Afghanistan for 9 months. With this series, I'm showing what soldiers miss out on when they're away at war. They may miss out on time with pets and playing in the yard. When a soldier's gone, their favorite hobbies are left to collect dust. For example, my husband loves motorcycles, but his motorcycle is sitting in the garage, and it will stay there for 9 months until he gets back. When away at war, it's not just the soldier that misses out on things. A partner and family misses out as well. A spouse will have to go to bed alone and wake up alone. It's one of the hardest parts of my day. It's hard to get over rolling over into his face and him not being there. People are not the only ones affected when a soldier leaves. I see it in animals as well. My dogs, Achilles and Cotton, are very sad that Michael has left. Every morning, Cotton runs up the stairs to Michael's side of the bed, and he's not there. It's hard to explain to an animal that their owner will be coming back. In their mind, they were abandoned. This is my final slide for my presentation. This is my final slide for my MIA series. Eating dinner alone is the other hardest part of the day. I usually sit across from Michael and we discuss our day and talk about the things that happened. But now I'm forced to eat alone. I temporarily lost my husband and my best friend. I would like to end my presentation by thanking you all for coming, and I'm open to questions now.
I really wanted that gun to be real. It's like it showed some of that power.
It makes noise.
You started talking about the hunting, and I was like, oh.
I'm looking for a gun, somebody that makes guns, to make me one just like that. Don't worry, I'll bring it to you when I have it. Yes.
I found your sculptures and I looked at the photography here, your connection to that is so personal. And I can see those groups being, poignant, but I keep thinking, what if this was a sculpture? What would you do if you could only do the series as a sculpture? I feel like that would be really interesting, because the way that you're connecting or hunting to some of the imagery and the humor that you had at the beginning with the swords, and even the bow was like kind of a graphic, comical way of portraying the bow. So you're getting in material the emotion, the gravity, the content, whereas in the photography is becoming cliche in a way that that's not what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? So I'm feeling like maybe the medium is probably that very. But my question then is for the hunting. You say like you want to get the women in the audience looking at these images to feel like they could go out and kill something and feel empowered. And so I'm seeing that, like you said, you're going to paint the rifle pink with the glitter and the antlers were pink. And I missed it. I almost feel like it's just what we see in media all the time about shooting. It's just kind of sexy, in a way. They don't necessarily paint the pink and glitter in the movies and things like that. So I'm wondering, like, how that is to experience those sculptures one-on-one, and what is it about those that really evoke that message for you? How would you accomplish that?
For me, when I'm in front of the antlers, if I go to my parents' house, I see antlers, and they're just normal, and I don't want to hang them up. I think they're ugly. But when I make them my own and I make them attractive to myself, it makes me want to pursue more, to go and kill another buck, to show off, and it's exciting. And I want women to know that it's exciting and that you can brag about killing a male deer and even a female deer, and you can, when you cook your deer meat, you can be like, yes, I did kill this deer, and yes, all the aluminum foil in my fridge is the rest of it. And I want women to just become hunters and know that it's okay. And when you interact with the antlers, you see their size, and with a deer, the larger, with a buck, the larger the antler, the older it is. And with these, you see that there are 8 points and 6 points and 4 points, and that they're pretty young, but that's a masculine thing that you took down, and that it's okay.
See, the way that you talk about it is so interesting to me. Like you're putting me into this space and feeling this experience. And when I look at the sculptures, as formally like exciting as I did to look at them, I miss the mark with what you're conveying, and I almost think like, what if you put all of these things together? What if they weren't just separate entities, separate sculptures? What if you started creating this installation of, I feel like that would embody it, because
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And like the dough, urine,
Yes.
Don't they put urea in perfumes anyway for like musk? Isn't they use?
I would not know that.
So like, do you have these like commonalities with what's going on in society? But when you put them all together, I don't know, there's just something that's like the next step, you know? And I'm excited about. That series is really exciting.
Can you kill a doe? I thought that was against the law.
No, you can kill a doe.
Can you?
Don't kill anything if you have guns.
You have to have a permit.
You have to have a permit.
You have to have a hunting license that tells you how many you can kill.
Okay. Because I've been deer hunting, and we always were like, oh, don't shoot the does. I didn't have a permit. I did think that, the sculpture was just night and day compared to your painting or the photo, and it was strong. And I could see, what Olivia's talking about, maybe pushing those ideas further and not combining what these people came in and went hunting and got all these. I think that can push that. The sculpture is much stronger, I think, and go in that direction.
You don't need the painting in there.
Okay.
Really, that threw it all out. I mean, it took it to another place.
Okay. Corey, do you have anything?
Bad reputation. Well, I mean, I agree with. Okay, how much?
15.
I agree with everything everybody's saying, but but I also think that you could even think about doing like a faux or real business, like a website, because you said you would inspire women to hunt. So what about a whole line of products, guns, antler ornamentation materials, camouflage.
Live bow.
What's that?
Live bow.
Yeah.
Do it for real.
Well, that's what I mean. It could be either. I mean, it could be an art piece that is faux, or it could be real, that is art and commerce, and that would be doing exactly what you want to do. Because I think to some extent, there's also this kind of grotesqueness to it. Because there's this like making as they are now. There's this like that kind of like pop quality. We talked about the kind of cheapness of glitter as well, and the kind of pop quality of the color. So I know that you're talking about kind of ornamenting it, making it something masculine, feminine, but I think there's also this little bit of grotesqueness going on. They're already kind of weird things anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to mainstream culture, animal parts on the wall and a gun in your home. I mean, not maybe in Colorado Springs, but maybe where you're from. But I think if you were going to New York City, that might be a weird thing. Unless you were like a hipster with Williamsburg apartment or something, But yeah, so that's something to think about. Like, how far does it go when it starts to become to the point where it starts to become a little bit like pop grotesque?
There's a photographer that's doing a whole series, and I can't think of her name for you, but it's called Modern Day Dianas, about the huntress.
Oh,
And,
yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think throw out blinds. If you were to like take the interior blinds and like the blinds that you use for money, is that what they're called? Yeah. And you made the interior like woman, friendly. Because guys go hunting and they're just like, I'm at the Village Inn at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like the objectification of women and throw it into the hunting, and it becomes like something really like Corey was saying, kind of grotesque, uncomfortable, but really like, oh, let me show you more. You're like, why? I'm feminine, but wow, and you're like,
Don't worry, I talked to my stepdad about making his deer stand less gross.
And then like
and prettier.
How do people buy these things? Don't even know they're. I love it.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.